Manchester City have pulled out of the race for Florian Wirtz. And could he be on his way to Liverpool? Manchester United step up their pursuit on Delap and are very, very close to getting Cunha done. Arsenal are still in the hunt for Victor Gyökeres. And who is going to be their left winger? Will it be Nico Williams? Will it be Mbeumo? Will it be Rafa Leao? There's a massive transfer update. It's very late at the time recording this, so I do expect a lot of you to probably watch this tomorrow. We've got so much to get into. I'm traveling to Bilbao tomorrow for the Europa League final, and I am, as Danny Dyer would say, fucking shitting myself. I fly out to Bilbao tomorrow. I'm landing. I'm going to be recording a lot of content. Got the mic at the ready to film some fans, get their predictions and whatnot. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. The road to 60K is well and truly on. And as it stands right now, we are under 700 away from 54K. Let me know your thoughts on every single topic we discuss. Make sure you watch the video the whole way through to get the latest transfer updates. And also, butcher this like button. We're going to start with 7 hours ago. Fabrizio Romano does an absolute bomber like he always does. And it got Liverpool fans thinking, right? The window hasn't even opened yet. Frimpong is done and will probably be in a Liverpool shirt in the next couple of days. Milos Kerkez, very, very close to a here we go. They've already brought in a new fullback pairing before the end of the season. They lost tonight, but I don't think any Liverpool fan gives a shit or cares. Now, Manchester City have currently left negotiations for Florian Wirtz. Talks were never advanced or at the final stages. Just initial approaches, but City believe their full package is too expensive. Morgan Gibbs-White remains on Manchester City's shortlist. Now, I think we can all agree that Florian Wirtz is a better footballer than Morgan Gibbs-White, right? Manchester City want to go out there and spend £300 million, according to reports. They're very interested in Ryan Diaz from AC Milan, who's probably going to be in the region of 50 to 60 million pounds. Florian Wirtz, I don't think, will leave Bayer Leverkusen for anything less than 80 million pounds, right? According to reports, Manchester City do not seem it to be value for money, which opens the door up for Liverpool. Now, if Manchester City are at the point where they are pulling out of negotiations, and bearing in mind, right, Fabrizio Romano has then gone on to retweet a tweet from a couple of days ago. As you can see, it's there. Romano reposted. Man City plan to advance on Morgan Gibbs-White deal in the next few weeks as he remains one of the priority targets. No issue as expected on personal terms, but work to do with Nottingham Forest as they hope to still keep more Gibbs-White. Now, I'll get on to Liverpool in a second before we get on to Arsenal and Chelsea and Man United, etc. Morgan Gibbs-White is a downgrade overall on Kevin De Bruyne. But if they bring in another creative player like Ryan Diaz, Morgan Gibbs-White this season, in terms of his overall stats for Nottingham Forest, has got 7 goals and 8 assists this season, right? Manchester City need a player to come in and get 10 and 10. They need someone to get 10 goals, 10 assists, and turn up in the biggest games consistently, because essentially they're losing Kevin De Bruyne, who's, let's just be brutally honest, a lot of people would say he's Manchester City's best player in their history, or at least their recent history, right? Ryan Diaz is a good player, very creative, stepped up in big games. He's got 17 GA in 37, Gibbs-White. He's played 31 games as an attacking midfielder, 1 game as a right winger, 1 game as a right mid, and 2 games as a central midfielder. He probably will play as a central midfielder, maybe because they've still got Foden, or does Foden play out on the left? But in terms of Florian Wirtz, if Liverpool bring him in, I can see him as a false 9, I can see him as a Bobby Firmino 2.0. They need players to get the ball to Salah in dangerous areas and take their chances. Florian Wirtz this season has been absolutely extraordinary for Bayer Leverkusen. And also last season, in terms of his output in a season in which where Bayer Leverkusen won the Bundesliga. Now, the Daily Mail are reporting that Bayer Leverkusen won 126 million. Man City withdraw from race for 126 million Florian Wirtz over soaring fees, leaving Liverpool and Bayern Munich to battle it out. Now, Bayer Leverkusen have already confirmed that they would prefer to sell Florian Wirtz to another league because they obviously don't want to strengthen a rival in terms of Bayern Munich. I can see him being a perfect signing for Liverpool. He fits their profile. He's 21, 22 years of age. He's versatile and he's absolutely insane. Like one of the best playmakers in European football right now. If they get him alongside Salah, alongside Milos Kerkez, Frimpong, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, like they are going to be favourites for the Premier League next season. Let's just be brutally honest right now. In terms of Manchester United, and then we'll finish on Spurs, then we'll finish on Arsenal. Manchester United, Liam Delap and Cunha. I told you guys about Man United. If they win the Europa League, right? Fabrizio Romano tweeted this out at 10 o'clock this morning. We've already spoken about this, but the fact that he has retweeted it tells me that this deal is very, very close to a here we go. Man United are now closing in on Matheus Cunha deal. The Brazilian has accepted the project as agreement on personal terms and is now being finalised, almost done. Final details to sort between all parties involved, and then here we go. 8.7 million views on a tweet, by the way, is crazy. I honestly believe that him and Delap, Bruno Fernandes, and all these players, he is going to be a very, very good signing. Even Jamie Carragher said on Sky Sports, he's absolutely perfect. You know, Liam Delap as well. I do think it's a gamble. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really, really do. I think Liam Delap scoring and being the main man at Ipswich is not exactly like being the main man at Manchester United. It's a different kettle of fish. But look, when you look at Liam Delap, his pedigree is in and around that penalty area, right? He's a 6-yard box specialist, very, very good in and around the 6-yard box. But I don't know if it's the step up too soon. You know, Liam Delap moves from City to Ipswich. A lot of people are after him. He's only just turned 22, 12 goals and 2 assists. Is it a step too far? You know, you got someone like Osimhen out there who I do think it would be a very, 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 very good addition to Man United. And in terms of Arsenal, Victor Gyökeres, people are saying that the deal is very, very close to being done, and we should hear more in the next couple of weeks. But I want to talk about their left wing position. That is the target that Mikel Arteta wants to bring in. And while we're on the names, they've been linked with Nico Williams. GiveMeSport have come out in the last hour with a name that I think, before we get to Nico Williams, would be very, very good for Arsenal. Arsenal are considering a move for Brentford star Bryan Mbeumo. It is expected to be a busy summer in North London as the Gunners look to bring in reinforcements across the line. GiveMeSport claim that Bryan Mbeumo is one of those being tracked, with the Bees likely to ask around £60 million. It is said that Arsenal are keen on his versatility as well as his underlying statistics. Now, what's interesting on this is Bryan Mbeumo is, I think, the perfect player for so many teams. Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle United. I think he has got all the tools, right, to be a top player at a big club. Now, what's interesting about this is Florian Plettenberg come out in January and said that he understands that Bryan Mbeumo is on Arsenal's shortlist for a potential summer transfer. The Gunners are looking to strengthen their wing position. Brentford star player is under contract until 2026. And at the point of of writing that tweet, he was only on 13 goals and 3 assists. Bryan Mbeumo has got 1 game left in the Premier League, right? And he's on 19 goals and 7 assists. He's on 26 GA in 37 7 Premier League games. And overall, 19 goals and 8 assists in 40 games. His stats are absolutely stupidly good for a player at Brentford. No one's talking about Ivan Toney anymore. No one's talking about, this player or that player. Dean Jones has come out saying that, he's a player that Arsenal really, really admire. And GiveMeSport have also come out and said that Arsenal are working behind the scenes on a potential move to sign Bryan Mbeumo. Now, what's better, Bryan Mbeumo, Nico Williams? Nico Williams is a younger player who's performing in some of the biggest games, scored the winner in a Euro final. Bryan Mbeumo is Premier League proven, could slot straight in, is more versatile, can play as a false nine, a left winger or a right winger, and output is better. But they are around the same fee. The difference is the wages for Nico Williams are going to be absolutely disgusting. He's currently on at Atletico Bilbao in La Liga. He's got 5 goals and 5 assists in 28 games in the league. And he's got 5 goals and 2 assists in 13 in the Europa League. So he finishes on 17 GA, which isn't the best considering Bryan Mbeumo has got 19 goals just for Brentford. Now, his contract expires, Nico Williams at Bilbao in 2027, right? So he's still got a fair amount of time. Plus, he's on 200,000 euros a week, right? So Arsenal, if they want to get him, are going to have to pay him 240, 250,000 pounds, which is like 270, 280k euros. Bryan Mbeumo is on a lot less, and his contract is at 1 year left. I think Bryan Mbeumo is actually the better signing for Arsenal. He's currently on at Brentford, one of the best seasons of his life, and he's on £45,000. Arsenal can significantly improve that. Significantly. Bryan Mbeumo, I think, is the better signing. I think he's the better signing for Chelsea in the most of the wings they're looking at. Newcastle United, he fits like a glove. And I think he's a better signing for Arsenal than Rafa Leao, than Nico Williams, than all of these wingers they're looking at. He has the ability. He's 25 years of age. He's 26, right? Two really good seasons in the Premier League now. And more versatile. And his output is miles better. I think he should be on every single player's, every single team's radar. Now, one last thing before we get to move to Spurs is that the Standard are reporting saying Delap has given permission to speak to Manchester United. He's got a £30 million release clause, and the Athletic report that Ipswich have given Delap permission to speak to Manchester United as he considers his options. Chelsea are also keen. I think it's a huge gamble. Like he could turn out to be a world beater. He could turn out to be a flop. It is a massive, massive, massive gamble. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is the biggest game in Tottenham's recent history. We have to, absolutely have to turn up. And James Maddison and the Bergvall have travelled with the team. Now, I'm not saying it is our year. Do you know what? Fuck it. This is our year. We're winning the Europa League. Drink it in. We are winning the Europa League. And I can't wait. Tomorrow, I'm going to be there in Bilbao. Loads of content. And we're going to do it. We're going to be in the Champions League next season. Listen, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts on every single story we have discussed. And give me your prediction for the Europa League final. I'm out.